How's it going? Thralls of Metal again. I'm Necrotic Nick,
I'm Jammin John.
and we are here to talk about day 2 of Maryland fucking
Day
Deathfest.
2.
Day 2. Day 2. So, this time it started a little bit earlier. We missed some of the opening bands, but we specifically wanted to get there in time to see a particular band, Obliteration. Obliteration is an awesome Norwegian death metal band that is very atmospheric,
Yeah.
kind of,
Yeah.
I don't know, there's something really just sounds extra evil about them. Almost blackened, but not quite.
I'd actually never heard of them. This was a new one for me. In fact, a lot of what the next couple days encompassed, I had never heard of, and I did that on purpose. I actually purposely didn't listen to a lot of this because I wanted to be surprised for the first time. Much like I was by Obliteration, I actually ended up buying one of their shirts.
They were the first band that was on the Rams Head stage, so we got to see them on the big stage, which
Yep.
I thought was absolutely fantastic.
Yep.
Just an amazing sound. Actually, it turns out where we were staying in an Airbnb in Fells Point,
That's right. I forgot
they
about
were
that.
staying across the street from us in a different Airbnb, and I recognized them and was like, hey, there's a bunch of guys loading musical equipment in a van.
Yeah.
I wonder where they're going.
Yep.
And then ran into them outside. I was like, hey, saw you guys earlier today. I was outside having a cigarette. I was like, oh, hey. It's like, how was the sound? I was like, you guys sounded great.
Yeah, this is what he asked. He was like, "Does it sound okay?" I was like, "Fuck, man, it sounded great."
It was amazing. I own all these this band's albums, and these guys are really just getting better with every album, I think.
Yep. In fact, the prior day there wasn't a lot by way of guitar solos. I remembered commenting
Yeah.
on that, like it kind of avoided guitar solos, which is fine. But Obliteration brought it.
Yep.
For sure.
Like real, like just dark but tuneful. It was.
Yeah.
They really have an awesome sound, and I strongly recommend any guys jam this shit. They're really fucking good. So then we make our way back over to the sound stage.
A lot of walking.
A lot of walking, but this one was beyond worth it because Tomb Mold took the stage.
Now, I'm a Tomb Mold fan. In fact, that made our end of the year list for last year. Tomb Mold is an incredible death metal band.
Manor of Infinite Forms is an incredible listen.
I was surprised to find out when they took the stage that the lead vocalist is actually the drummer.
And, you know, it'd be one thing if he was just doing, like, some basic stuff, but this guy is doing, like, fucking sick blast
Yeah,
beats.
sick blast and like crazy like polyrhythms while growling.
And doing it to, like, a different rhythm, too, with that, too. So this guy's brain is wired quite amazingly for this shit.
And he's young. In fact, all the guys in Tomb Mold, I think the bass player looked a little bit older.
The bass player kind of reminded me of Bunny Carlos in Cheap Trick. Like, he was the older dude that looked like the shop teacher.
He kind of
Yeah.
looked like, you ever watch The Office? That season in The Office where all the people come from like Andy and Jim, and
Okay.
then when they come back, remember the real fat guy that they bring back that Michael makes sit on the table?
Vaguely. But
He looked like that guy,
Huh.
but not as fat. But he
Not
looked
fat.
like that guy. Anyway, not
But
important.
yeah, not important. But they had such an amazing set. I was already a gigantic Tomb Mold fan.
As was
like,
I.
Like, I've been a fan ever since I first heard their first album, and it was like, dude, wow, these guys are on some other shit.
Yep.
And fiercely polite Canadian guys, really cool.
Yeah, we got to talk to him after the set. They were selling their own merch. So
Oh my God, dude.
really nice guys. Again, they thanked us for being there and whatnot. But I mean, young, and it angers them.
And they're already coming out. They're already coming out with a new album this year, which more than likely we will review. It'll be their third album in 3 years. So these guys are busy.
And when he says more than likely, we'll review it.
Yeah,
you will
it's-
see it. Here.
I'm super excited, especially after seeing them live. My God, they sound even better live.
Yep.
Like that guitar tone was so fucking punchy. They played one of my favorite tracks off of Manor of Infinite Forms, which was Abyss Walker, and that has some very distinct, awesome moments in it. Incredible set. So then, once again, we made our way
I tailed it back across the street.
back across the street to the Rams Head because we had to catch quite possibly one of the most genre-bending bands on the entire bill, Anal Nathrak.
The trolls of the tour.
The Trolls of the tour. Throughout this entire set, their frontman and their guitarist
Yep.
kept asking for stage divers. Now, at the Rams Head, that is frowned upon.
Hey, no. At the sound stage,
you're doing it every 5 seconds.
Yeah, they non-stop crowd surfing, non-stop stage diving, crazy.
It's insane. It's mayhem over there.
At the Rams Head, though,
No.
they don't want that to happen, which I get because A, it's a much larger stage. B,
Yeah.
in the front there's a gap
Yep.
easily 10 feet from the stage. I can see where unless you really have some gusto on your jump, how you could not make it and smash your face.
Yeah, or any other part of your
I
body.
get it.
You know.
But
But yeah, they didn't seem to care. In between every song, the guitarist would lean over as Mike, like, "Can I get some stage service, please?" And once again, like, you'd see some people try to brave it, and then a security guard tackle them.
that one guy, he was wearing the Sluggage shirt outside. It was that guy. That one guy tried, and he almost made it, and then security tackled him, and then he tried to move beyond
He
the
just
security,
lifted him, like,
and
nope.
they just were like, "Nope,
It's
done."
not happening. But they had an incredible set.
Yep.
Like, actually, the first clean vocals we heard all tour long.
And done really well.
Wow, their frontman out of nowhere, like, he has this nasty, just deep bark.
Yep.
And then out of nowhere, this giant operatic vocal
Yep.
comes out of nowhere, and it's huge.
It's huge, and you know how, like, sometimes when you listen to bands with clean vocals and you're like, obviously there's some studio magic there.
Yeah.
No, he nailed it.
Nailed it. And it was really interesting because, I mean, I've been listening to an all-nath rec for years, and they are not the easiest band to get into because they are so fucking visceral. It's a blend of black metal, death metal, industrial metal, grindcore. It is just caustic as hell, but it has these really cool melodic moments. Like, wow, that's really accessible. But all of it is through layers of static and grit.
Yep.
And this sounded actually really clean, so you could hear everything. And it was a remarkable set. Their frontman he was probably the best, my favorite frontman of the entire tour because he engaged the crowd so well.
Yep.
And he was a lot of fucking fun.
Yes. Again, when we say the trolls of the tour, just the shit he was saying it was great.
So I think after this we took a little break and sat down because our fucking feet hurt.
Yeah, we had like an hour and a half. Yeah, again, wear comfortable shoes. Maybe get some gel insoles because I mean. A lot of standing. There was no sitting room. There was some sitting at the sound stage, but you would have had to obviously get there in time to get it.
We may have hit a Subway too. Got some grubbage.
Was that the night of the almost riot?
No, that was a different night.
Okay.
I think
Just
it was
kidding.
3. But yeah, we decided to go back to the Rams Head. Now, unfortunately, there were some bands that didn't make it due to visa issues. Violator was one of them. And Vomitory, which I was super excited about because it was a reunion for them.
Yep.
They didn't make it because they didn't get a visa for selling merch.
For selling merch, yeah. Apparently, when you're an overseas band and you have merch to sell, you have to get a separate visa to be in the States to sell things. Like, getting the visa to come there as a band is one thing. Getting a visa to sell merchandise apparently is another thing, which we didn't know.
Yeah.
One of the people walking around told us.
Yeah, fucking red tape. Fucking red tape. I was irritated, but Immolation, they were going to hang out the entire time and just be fans and watch bands, but they asked them, hey, would you like to play a headlining size set on the big stage? And they did.
They said yes.
We went from not seeing Immolation at all to seeing them twice
in 2 days on 2 separate stages.
And it was incredible because they actually played a different set.
Yep.
They played some of the songs they played the first night, but they squeezed in some different ones. I think once again they played a lot off of Dawn of Possession.
Yes.
And I think they squeezed in a little bit more from Majesty and Decay this time. There might have been one from Closer a World Below. But it was awesome seeing them on that stage. Plus, we decided to go for a lofty
third tier balcony.
Yeah.
Which for me, I'm a drummer first of all, so I got some really great footage. I got to actually see what their drummer was doing from overhead. Just fucking nuts.
I couldn't. I'm not a musician, but just watching him was like I can barely process this because I mean, like using fills as beats, like part of the beats, like it just seemed like there's like all right, part of the beat is this big turnover. And it's different. And once again, like Immolation's one of those bands that when you hear one of their songs come up, you know it's them. It's unmistakably them.
Such a good time. I'm so glad they got to do it again. Seeing Immolation twice in
sick.
One set of 2 days. Just couldn't have asked for something cooler.
Yeah.
I mean, once again, we were already head over heels in love with the fact that we were actually there.
Elation, pure elation.
Elation for immolation. Ooh.
Yeah, ooh, there we go.
Ooh.
That was a little rhyme scheme there. That was good. So, once again, we hung out around the Ram's Head because we knew what was coming up next, and that was one that I was super excited about, Pestilence. Pestilence, I was surprised, did not play anything current. They stuck to their first 3 albums, which are fucking classics, especially Consuming Impulse, which they played a boatload off. This was probably one of the most, like, precise, spot-on bands. Like, the guitar work was extra crunchy. You heard a real nice thrashy tone from these, and it was kind of a break because most of the bands we saw that day, had that muddier, heavier death to metal tone. And these guys had a bitey, crunchy thrash tone and lots of lead play back and forth. And how about that drummer?
Again, being a musician and being a drummer, this entire tour was just one giant wet dream, especially on day 3, and we'll get there. But I mean, it just their drummer was the whole thing. I have nothing but good. First of all, again, even Pestilence, like I wasn't overly familiar with Pestilence. Again, a lot of this was just a big induction for me to a lot of different kinds of metal because I'm a huge tech death fan. Like, I like old school death metal, don't get me wrong. That's, of course, where it comes from, the bread and butter for everything, which is predominantly what this tour was. I'm a big tech death fan, though. And being a big tech death fan, I don't often catch a lot of these things. So, like, my mind was blown for 4 days. And Pestilence was no slouch on that.
Like, probably one of the best poppy fucking snares, too. Like, that thing was
dude, that
punchy.
snare was kicking.
And dude's ride hand... It was a blur.
So the drummer of Pestilence, if you ever get a chance to look up on YouTube and there's like an overhead shot or even a shot facing the kit, watch his ride hand because it does not slow down. It's almost a blur, and everything, like Mike Smith for Suffocation played where every hit was pronounced. Like, it was the same for the ride, but it was brilliant. I couldn't stop.
It was awesome. It was awesome. They were one of the best bands we saw that entire fucking festival, for sure. I absolutely loved it. I loved the set they played.
Yep.
Would have been cool if they threw in some modern stuff. I'm not like, I know there's a divide in fans when it comes down to that stuff. I think some of it's pretty good, but the classics are classics for a reason.
Yep.
And then finally, the closing band on day 2 was Tormentor. Now, I didn't know anything about this band. I got them confused with a different band. They were a black metal band. I forget where they're from, but they were very theatrical. I thought that was pretty cool. The frontman, I mean, first off, it opened up with the guitarist doing like a cool little solo, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Big spotlight on him, and I thought he was like, oh, this is the frontman? All right. I'm just kind of feeling this King Diamond vibe.
Yep.
Then the singer comes on, and it's full-on spikes, black metal, but he's wearing a cape with like a red lining on the inside.
Yeah, and he had his face, it was, corpse paint? But his face was painted, it was something weird, I don't remember.
It was corpse paint. I think he had like his mohawk painted or something like that. He had
we got pictures of it. I'll have to go back and look.
I mean, it was different. I like black metal. This one I thought was only kind of a so-so black metal band. It was definitely entertaining.
It was.
The theatrics were fun.
Yes. I mean, if I had to put a real, what I would say, hokey.
Yeah.
But I get it.
Yeah.
I get what they were trying to do. I get where that all comes from. That's great. I don't think we stayed probably like 3 or 4 songs.
3 or 4 songs for that one.
But we were kind of dead. We did a lot of walking.
Yeah,
so we kind of threw in the towel. But
it was entertaining. The fans definitely got into them. I mean, they definitely had a lot of people there that were there to see them too, and I could see why they would want them as a headliner. They're definitely entertaining. It just, I'm picky when it comes to my black metal. I like generally the thrashier variety, or mixed with death metal a bit. Part of it kind of felt almost hair metal-ish, almost like Wasp. But
I'll give it that.
I'm sure they're a good band. I just didn't personally get into them very much. But that was like the lone not super great spot. And it was still pretty good. So
even so, even the moments of the whole time we were there that were kind of like meh, we're still really solid because of where we were. I cannot express enough the overall vibe of those days, and the people, and the the where it was located and what was going on outside and that big
fun.
fountain in the middle of the square and people hanging out. And
it was awesome.
You go outside and random people would just talk to you, and of course, every time you go to shows, you look around and you're like, oh, look at that shirt and look at that shirt. Well, it was kind of like an overwhelming amount of, holy shit, look at that shirt. And a lot of people would talk to you based on that. Hey, man, cool shirt, blah, blah, blah. I saw them in blah, blah, blah. Like, we talked to people nonstop the whole time we were there. So,
like, conversations with fucking just completely random people and like, just all walks of life, too.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yep.
It was absolutely insane. So, I mean, even if you're into just those kind of cool conversations, that's another reason to go.
Yeah. There's no reasons not to go. I really... I miss it. I miss it. I want to be there.
So that was day 2. And we will be back with day 3 because, my God, another amazing lineup that day, too.
Yeah, day 3 had a killer lineup. One of my favorite, I think, days of the entire tour was day 3.
Yes, quite possibly, too. But if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to this, subscribe. We do shit like this all the time. And we will catch you later.